morning. We're still alive, and we thank God we're still alive. How are you doing this morning? I hope everything is fine, and you're looking so fresh today.
Thank you. Considering the fact that I was almost late coming in this morning. Yes, good to see you. How was your weekend?
My weekend was great. It was good. I had a lot of fun. I attended 2 parties.
Good for you.
Yeah, so you should see. But I had enough rest as well.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
You did not?
No, I didn't. Okay. Working all weekend.
You're welcome.
And in the second hour of the show, we're talking corporal punishment. I mean, it's 2013. Is it really necessary to cane children in school when they go wrong?
You want my opinion on that?
No, I don't actually.
Right, thank you so much.
Because I know you're from the old school. You probably say yes.
Well, second hour of the program, and today, what are we looking at? We're looking at an issue that some people contend with. Others believe it ought to be the situation. Some also believe that never should that thing happen to anybody. We're looking at corporal punishment. Yeah. Well, it could be either domestic, it could be academic or in schools, or it could be even at the level of the law that is being meted out to anybody who is found culpable of any action that either has an effect on him personally or society as a whole. Yep. We're finding out corporal punishment. Should it be abolished? Should we stick to it, or we should modify it in a certain way?
That a little gray area.
Well, one way or the other. Well, we have here Dr. Wiafia Kentembrenya to help us discuss this. Joseph Bokete is also joining us, as well as the man called Platini. How are you doing, Mr. Shiago? Okay, so that's Christian Shiago.
Yeah. Platini is an advocate against, I mean, he's strongly against corporal punishment, especially in schools. And
Joseph Bokete says, no, we need to maintain it. And then we have the psychologist here, Dr. Wiafia Kentembrenya, is going to tell us the pros and cons. Yeah,
I mean, I think he's going to be neither here nor there. Because, you know, the whole time before the camera started rolling, Platini and Bokete were like really debating, and I was just listening quietly. And he was just sitting there thinking, these people, okay, let the camera start rolling. We'll see about that. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome.
No, when we say corporal punishment, apart from looking at what it means, is this something that we need to, say, institutionalize or need to endorse in our system?
I'll say yes and no. And when I'll come back to why. But the institutionalization, and if you talk to Ghana Education Service or Ministry of Education, it's something that has been done over the years. And it's still being done, even though now they've placed a lot of restrictions on that. That it can only be done by the headmaster or the headmistress, or when he or she delegates somebody to do that. And under specific offenses. And it must be stated clearly and logged. So it means it's still there. But talking about no in terms of, because for some people, they see punishment as just inflicting pain on a child. But punishment is not meant to necessarily inflict pain. Besides that, there are several ways by which we can punish children. So if it is about inflicting pain, then that is wrong, because punishment is meant to reform, to correct. In some instances, meant to deter others, or in few occasions, supposed to be retributional. You have done something to somebody, and a similar thing must be done to you. In other cases, it's supposed to placate, something like pacify someone. You know, so if we look at all these, then in some level, we can maintain it somehow. Because different people respond differently to different punishment. For some people, the cane is good. Even the mere sight of the cane will deter them. For others, if you use it over and over, and you overuse it, they develop the thick skin for it, and subsequently they will just come, they will stand there, they will receive the lashes, and that's it. And they get to a point where it no longer becomes correctional or deterrent, but it's just something that would not lead to what you intend to do. Then the other side, I said no, because you also need other forms. For instance, you can punish people by withdrawing something that is desirable. So if somebody like watching a specific movie, and they say because you've done ABC, you will not be allowed to watch it, then that is fine. It's a form of punishment. And I'm sure if we move away even from school and come home, for some ladies, if you prevent them from watching certain soap opera, that one in itself is big punishment. Or if it's in the home and the family maybe eats out once in a week or once in a month, then we say, because you have done that, this time when we go in, you are not going. Then moving back to the school just quickly, There are several ways that they can punish. In some schools, they even have come out with the pupils or the student as to the don'ts. And if you violate any of them, what should be done? The pupils or the student have come out.
So sometimes
the moment they do so, I say, what have you done? What is the corresponding punishment?
Yes.
So there are several ways.
Yeah.
So my stand is that it's yes and no,
yeah.
because at certain times you need it,
yeah.
but we must be careful the way we use it. But at certain times it's not useful.
Now, Platini, good to see you.
Yes.
I mean, the whole time
he was smiling.
He was just looking up and he was like, I don't agree. You know, you are an advocate against corporal punishment, especially we're narrowing it down to schools. Why do you think that it's not necessary to cane a child, for instance, when they go wrong in school?
Yeah, in the first place, corporal punishment is violence. And violence against an adult or against a child is wrong. Well, you cannot justify it in one way and ban it in another way.
Shouldn't it depend on how it is meted?
No. I'm a trained teacher. I've been in the teaching profession for the past 20 years plus. I've not yet seen a training college in this country where it is allowed for teachers to use the cane. It's against the rules. I've not yet seen anybody who has told me that caning has been part of the training, be it from the university or whatever. On the field, inspectors do not come to inspect the cane use, least inspect the velocity of it, nor the effect it has on the child. Because you are, even on teaching, when you go to the teaching practice, when they come to the classroom and see with the cane, you are punished for it because it is wrong. It is only in the classroom that you are prevented from doing something while you are being trained, but you are allowed to do it when you're on the field. A point of order, correction probably for doctor. GES has come out now to ban corporal punishment. It is in the disciplinary codes, the current one. Unfortunately, most teachers are not aware of this. Why? Because they know the effect. The argument that some people need to be caned and some not. For me, it's an insult because most teachers will tell you the only language the African child understands is the cane.
No way.
Is the European child more human than the African child? You are trained, you are programmed to be inferior right from the beginning. The child grows up and thinks that somebody is better than I am. So in the classroom, what I want to say is that violent parents become role model for their children. They go to school with the behavior they pick from the house, and teachers get frustrated because our training institutions are not, excuse my language, that effective in terms of alternatives to corporal punishment. So teachers are in the midst of the frustration, they do whatever they want. If the cane were to be effective, the first 2 or 3 strokes should be able to change the child. But I can tell you that the child who receives the cane the most are the worst behaved in school. Schools that use the cane the most are the worst school in this country. The so-called international schools where the children of the rich attend, they don't use the cane on them, yet they are doing well. Their children are not born on mass.
You must have done a lot of survey to be able to come up with these numbers.
I've worked with schools, and you are getting schools to drop the cane because they know that it's more effective. We are working with parents who are equally dropping the cane because they are now training their children. They are doing better than those who are being caned. If other countries are doing it, we can do it. The colonial master came down with education, with their biased mentality, introduced the cane, left, reformed their system, and we are still holding to it because it is not effective.
Before we come to Joseph, let me ask you, what are the kind of corrective measures that you would want to be meted out to a recalcitrant child in school?
Yes, in the first place, let's look at circumstances under which children are caned in class. For instance, a teacher teaches and the child does not understand. The child is beaten. No. The teacher needs to change his method.
I'm looking at a child who steals, who skills over the wall to run away from school, doesn't come to classes.
Or a very bad child influencing the other
even that
children.
word, bad child,
who beats,
I bet. Let's not use that word. No child is bad. Let's look at the action of the child. Something is wrong. There is a need that
the child with bad attitude or bad habits.
Then let's concentrate on the attitude, not the child. When you start telling kids that they are bad, the child programs it, accepts it, and start behaving that way.
Now, quickly, do you think we need psychologists?
We need psychologists in every
school.
We need psychologists, we need social workers in every school.
In every school.
GES and the Ministry of Education need to reform the training institutions, start training teachers in line with positive alternatives.
Let me ask you, have you encountered any truant child?
I have a lot that have transformed.
How have you been able to transform them? What did you use?
One, I accept them the way they are, and I help them to identify their own problems and find solutions with them for the problems. If it's the problem is in the house, I make a follow-up to the home. Unfortunately, in school today, teachers don't have the time. We are blaming the government, blaming parents, condemning the children. And the child believes that, yes, I'm bad. So the child will keep on doing what he's doing.
Platini, I'm concentrating on you because I need a practical example of one child that you took care of in that way. Who was he or she?
I went to a school where the kids were always insulting the teachers. It's a village community. And parents would come in, pick their kids, they insult the teachers. They were insulting me. It was after 2 years that they got to know that I was aware. I never complained about it. I constantly projected what they cannot see, telling them what they can do, who they can be, giving them example of people who had the same environment but made it. Talking about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Agri, and those guys.
You didn't dwell on the negative.
No.
Exactly.
My focus was on the positive.
Yes.
And those, I gave them the opportunity to get so close to me. I live my life, and my life become an example for them to emulate. So by so doing, the child will come to you and tell you his or her problem. That is the trust between me and the child. Instead of focusing on the negative, I focus on the positive. Once I pointed to you that this is wrong, this is the way forward.
Joseph,
I guide you toward that.
I
Joseph,
saw you dotting.
You believe that.
Yeah,
You
so I was
believe
trying
that.
to put something down so that I can go straight to him and blow him directly.
And that's violence.
Be nice. Be nice. Okay. Now you think that corporal punishment should not be abolished. It has to be a thing that has to be a part and parcel of our school system in Ghana.
Yes,
Why?
Yes. See, when you look at corporal punishment itself, it is not anything in a way to maybe, as our father here said, cause pain or injuries or something to the students. No. Nobody has that intention. But the main effect of corporal punishment is to be in such a way that any student who is trying to move in the wrong direction is brought to the right path.
Yes.
As he has said, we have a lot of ways that you can punish the student without using a cane. Yes, it's true. We have different types of students, and pertaining to the type of student, we need to know how to discipline the student. For example, when I'm looking at where I'm teaching actually, there are some students there. The moment you see that, hey, I want to discipline you, I'll cane you. The moment you cane the person 2-3 times, he knows that for this teacher, if I should do something, he's going to cane me. I say, okay, I've given you science homework. Tomorrow, when I started teaching, I was in this guy's shoe. I said that I will not cane. But one funny thing is, you give work, you teach, the next day you come, oh, you say, do you understand? Oh, yes, sir. Everybody go home, the next day you come and nobody at least can even say something. Everybody's relaxed. You give homework, nobody is doing it. But yes, we all give advice. You talk over and over, and nobody is responding.
Yeah, but you see, you know, let me come in here. When you ask a class collectively, do you understand? There are maybe like 10 of the students who don't understand.
Yes.
But because it's a collective effort, everybody say, yes, sir. But then how do you consider the individuals?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. And I have developed a methodology of dealing with that. Assuming we have a student, a whole bunch of students in the class. I don't normally ask, do you understand? How many people understand? Raise up your hand. And if you don't know, you raise up your hand, you tell me what you've heard. So in that bit, I can ask, oh, do you understand? Everybody say yes. Okay, if you understand, raise up your hand and answer the question. In that bid, you can see a majority hands will be down. Because you know if your hand is up,
you'll be called to explain. Yes. Okay, we'll go on a short. Well, welcome back to this morning. What we're discussing is corporal punishment in the schools. I mean, is this something that we should abolish? Is this something that is affecting the students or pupils psychologically? How well do we need to attend to this situation so that it doesn't end up making somebody very timid or withdrawn, or making somebody very audacious in things that they do? Well, we still have here Dr. Biafia Kentebrenya, we have Joseph Bokete, and then Christian Ashiagbo discussing this with us. You can join us by phone when the lines are activated on your screen. You can just pick up the numbers on the screen. You can call us and you can send us comments via Facebook. So we just want to know how well you're able to deal with this. Now, I picked up some passages here from Proverbs 23:13 says, "Withhold not correction from the child. If thou beatest him with a rod, he shall not die." Proverbs 23:14 says, "Thou shalt beat him with a rod, and shall deliver his soul from hell." 29:15, that is Proverbs 29:15 says, "The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame." So the rod can be used, but depending on how
that is
you use
I think it's how
the cane is being used is the most important thing.
Yeah, but you know, Patrice, the rod in the Bible shouldn't necessarily
I wish you had a
depict cane. The rod in the Bible could be a correctional,
for if thou
general.
For if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
Patrice,
so beat means,
you know, translating the Bible brought a lot of issues. If you go to Isaiah chapter 11 verse 4, he says, if the rod of thy mouth, talking about Christ, you smite the earth, is the rod of thy mouth will be what? Is that the king? Is the word of God.
Is the word,
Train the child the way he will grow, that he's not depart from it. The training of the child begins with the word of God, not the rod. Thy rod and thy staff. You know, the rod used there here means
a lot of things.
It means a lot of things. Yeah. The question is this, you know, it's funny when I hear Christians quoting the Bible justifying this thing. Something which is over 6,000 years. And they claim Solomon is the one who wrote this. And Solomon said, whatever his eyes see, whatever he desires for, he goes in for it. He marries 7,000 women, 300 concubines, all that. They will tell you, don't do that, it's wrong.
Okay, there's a call on the line. Let's pick the call and then we'll come back to it. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hey, this is more like an anniversary call. How are you doing?
Okay, this is Philip from Teshi.
Okay, hi, Philip, yeah.
Hi. I think I agree with Teacher Bokete.
Okay.
Yes, because, you know, looking at the kind of issues coming up this time around, you see, we are too stubborn. See, because if you look back in the days compared to this time around, this century, I think punishment should be there. Because when you do something wrong and you know the kind of punishment that will be given to you, you yourself, you are aware. So it makes us alert that if I do this, this is what I'm going to face. If I do this, because normally I attended a presentation, and then formally they don't punish us. But initially they started caning, and then most of the times the punishment is not always using the cane. Sometimes they can ask you to go outside or to go to a certain school park, go and pick maybe 7,000 sachets of pure water rubbers, and you look at this. So if I know this is the kind of punishment you are going to give me, then that will not push me to do what I'm supposed to do. So I think corporal punishment should be there.
Okay, that's your opinion, and we have to leave it to that.
You know, my question is, what about, like, I mean, I'm neither here nor there, you know, but at the end of the day, I am strongly gearing towards abolishing
using it, yes.
Because, you know, what about, instead of using corporal punishment, because it's a deterrent, it reminds the child that if I do this, the repercussions are that. What about the voice of reasoning that you instill in the child's mind?
Let's find
so that when they are about to do it, they hear that voice, and that would also deter them. I mean, come on, it shouldn't always be.
How do you psychologically orient the child such that such things
you know, to make punishment effective, irrespective of the mode of punishment, there are certain things you need to do. For instance, before you punish a child, the child should know what he or she has done wrong. And tell the child the effect of that thing on himself or herself, on others, and even in the future. And suggest alternative, appropriate behavior. Sometimes children don't even know that what they have done is wrong. So that is one. It's part of the reasoning process, taking them through. And it's also important that when we punish them, we don't behave like brutes. You know, sometimes our demeanor and the things we say. When we tell them what they've done, and we tell them that if they don't stop in future, it's part of the process. So we are telling them what is good and what also is bad, and the consequence. It's also important that sometimes, and that will be in the homes, we make some mistakes that we punish a child, and at the same time we send wrong signal. What does that mean? Sometimes some parents will punish the child, and this one I think I will put more emphasis on the women. And while the child is sitting, crying or brooding over what has gone, you go and say, oh, my baby, don't do this. I'll get you. Then that's the time you go and get the child the best of things he or she wants. You send a conflicting signal. What it means is that in future, you have linked good things with bad things. In future, there's a tendency that if the child wants that good thing, which you normally don't give, then he'll do something wrong, you punish, and it will be followed. You know, we call that learning by association. So we need to do the rational thing, depending on the child's age and the ability to follow through those things. If we did that, then we'll be in a position to ensure that the punishment, whether it's withdrawal of something desirable, it's application of undesirable like something on design like caning or something, we'll be able to
Joseph,
help them.
how were you able to secure your students or your pupils to do something good when you instilled caning in them?
Yes. Before I go straight to your point, I'm having something very important here. For instance, as I was saying the first time, they refused to do the homework. But after I started caning, just for about 2 weeks, continuously, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
You have energy.
I'm telling you, the students now, when they come to school, the next morning before I enter, all the homework books are there. Now I don't have time to mark. I'm tired.
Okay.
I need to be marking every day. So now they'll bring the books. And right now I have valued the way I'm caning. And now I don't talk a lot.
I mean, there's no scientific evidence that says that, caning the child brings
but that is your experience.
Outcome. You know what I mean? But that's based on...
Yes, you know, one importance of caning is that compared to other punishments, such as somebody do something and say, okay, suspension or something, caning will immediately bring the student back to the class. You do something, less than 20 seconds, you are caned, and you are back learning. Rather than say, using those times to doing something else. Meanwhile, we need time to complete the syllabus. Teachers say we don't have time. Let us extra classes.
No,
yeah.
Some education experts say physical punishment instills a climate of fear in the classroom, and it's associated with students skipping class and even dropping out of school.
Saying that.
Okay,
how it has been.
Let's take Citizen now, and then we'll come back to it. Good morning, Citizen now.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Great. You want to contribute to the program?
Please, I want to contribute to your program.
Kindly go ahead.
I have 3 kids. And when a child do something, as the Bible says, you just let the child know the wrong that he or she did. And maybe if you look at the kind of wrong that the child did, it doesn't mean that if the child does anything that is even little, all that you hear the parents saying is that, I'll beat you, I'll beat you. So the children are just used to the I'll beat you stuff. You see the child doing something wrong, then as soon as he sees you, then you say, hey, I'll beat you. That's what mommy will say. And the teachers, to some of them, they do cane the kids to the extent that when they come home, they'll be telling you, Mr. So and so, he keeps beating us, the little thing you do. But as for my kid, when she comes home, she'll tell you, Mom, I did this and the teacher beat me. And I ask her, have you learned from that? Then she'll tell you, yes. So I'll just leave your teachers. Just minimize the way they beat the kids.
Minimize, yeah.
Because they beat the kids to the extent that when she comes home, you see that she'll be moody. Then when she comes home, she'll be moody. When you ask her, she will tell you the thing she did. And the teacher had to cane her. But it shouldn't be always caning, because in the schools that they don't cane the kids, they do well. They do very well.
Thank you so much, Sister.
I mean, I like the fact that she said, you know, the kids will come home and say, as for this Mr. So-and-so, he's always caning us for no apparent reason. Because most of the time, the teachers will not even give you a reason for doing that.
I sincerely believe
like Doctor said, you tell them,
Yeah.
Do you know why I'm beating you? Do you know what you did? This is the reason why I did this. So next time, you don't do that. But there's no explanation. So I just feel like...
Platini, you want
to... even the issue about telling the child before caning him, for me, it's neither nor...
Yeah, you don't even have to cane.
When was the last time you had a cat and somebody is telling you, oh, take care, to be easy. Your concentration is on the pain you are going to receive.
Yes.
Nothing works.
Yes.
Before then, you know, the woman who was, the first caller was complaining about the youth of today.
Yes.
It's interesting, you know. I'm sure if my grandfather should come back today and somebody tells him that men do not raise their hands against their wife today, he may ask, then how are they living in their homes with their wives? If they should tell them that today is becoming more or less a crime for people to for women to marry against their will, he may wonder, how are you getting married? Look, you are complaining about the youth. What is the adult doing? Tuning to the TV, tuning to the radio. They're on each other's throat, insulting here and there. You use violence to teach non-violence. A child insults somebody, you insult the child for telling him, didn't I say don't insult your sister? The child hits the friend, you go and hit him and tell him, didn't I say don't beat your brother? What are you teaching the child? It's the philosophy of the Stone Age. Live your life in such a way that your life become an example for the child to follow. Period.
Yes.
Children come to school without doing homework. Probably they did not understand the lesson. Or they went home. Imagine what I was teaching. By the time we leave the classroom, the child is in the street selling pure water.
Yes.
He has no time. It's not his fault.
Yes.
There is a problem in the house that we need to identify.
Yes.
It's a good example of the teacher I will tell who has messed up this country. You are trained not to use our brain, you are trained to fear. The average Ghanaian will drive on the road. If there's no policeman, he'll pass the traffic light.
Yeah.
Why? Because he's afraid. Because nobody is there to watch him.
Yes.
Go to the workplace. People are not working. We must raise the next generation of youth or adults who need least supervision in their daily life.
Exactly.
There are people who will use their brain, not because I'm afraid. If I put this here, I should be responsible for whatever happens.
Yes.
Right. But when you are training people to fear, the day the teacher who cares the most is not on duty, nothing works.
Everybody goes back wild.
And that is the best in this country.
Yes.
Teachers must be told this. I've been in the classroom for a number of years now. It has never worked. What I'm doing now is better than what we've done over the years. Caning is barbaric, it must end.
Yes.
If there are schools that are not using the cane and their children are doing well, let us learn from those schools.
Yes.
If there are parents, I know people in this country who were raised up without the cane.
Yeah.
I don't raise my hand against my children. I talk to them.
Yes.
I live my life and they copy it.
Yes.
Let us live, demonstrate our love. People go around quoting the Bible. Jesus never raised his hand against the disciples. Discipleship is like he lived his life in such a way that they follow whatever he wants them to.
But
do.
he did
cane people.
He never. Go back to the Bible. This is Satan quoting the Bible. I'm telling you, no. They say he went to the temple, made God, drove the animals out, turned their table, even the dove. He did not touch them because he knows if he sets them out, they will not catch them. He told them take the doves out. He never touched them.
Okay, there's somebody on the line. Let's pick up this call and then come back. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Great, thanks for calling. You want to contribute to the program?
Yeah, I would like to say it should be blended, okay? At least disciplines you take 70% and then counseling you take 30%, okay? I can see Jocelyn heading, nodding the head, sorry. And then it's like you seconding my view. I think the kids should be caned, okay? Because when you cane them, okay? Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, when you cane them, they come back to their right senses. And then it is obvious, okay? We need not to see this, okay? It's very obvious. When you cane a kid, he or she comes back to the right senses, okay, without any hesitation. So I think this is brief contribution I have to
Okay,
make.
thank you so very much. But sometimes, you know, it is quite difficult for you to know the extent to which a teacher would cane a pupil, because it's sometimes it hurts. Like for you, for example, you got a cut and it was terrible. Some people are scarred for life. You know, like you said, somebody went blind because a cane went into their eye.
There have been lots of examples.
You know, so sometimes you don't know. If your child came home and had a lot of bruises on their skin and told you that it was teacher ABCD who caned me, and do you think you'll be like, oh, congratulations, the teacher did well? For me, if you used a cane on my daughter, I'll take you. You know, I go to the gym a lot, so I'll touch you and I'll do something.
That's too funny.
No, but seriously, I don't subscribe to caning.
No, at all.
I don't.
Not at all.
I believe in moral suasion. I believe in talking and training the children. The point is that if you are not careful, the child will carry some load of burden from the home to the school. So if you're a teacher, you're not smart enough to identify it and deal with that child at that level, you compound it for the child.
I think every teacher needs to be taught some form of psychology. I mean, I'm sure you go through that training. But then the thing is, there are some psychological evidence that states, I mean, that some children who probably were caned a lot in school resign even to extreme cases, suicide when they're old. You know,
we need to look at the effect of the cane on the child. That I can give you an effect. For instance, in the first place, it makes you timid. The child sits in class dreaming. Because teachers who can the most don't normally take time to find out who the child is always alert.
Yeah, that's the fastest way out.
In the classroom, the cane you use as a pointer is used as a cane to cane the child. The moment the teacher leaves the cane up, everybody is alert. Learning ceases. When children don't understand lessons, they don't ask questions.
It's very confusing.
And teachers who cane the most spend time chasing discipline or caning and waste time rather than teaching. You know, let's
find out from Joseph. Yeah,
what about schools that they don't use the cane? How are they doing it?
That's what he's thinking. That's what I'm saying. That me, if you're a student, you should misbehave. I'm teaching. within 10 seconds, I'm done with you.
Yeah, with the cane.
I'll go back to
the class.
my job.
Yeah.
You should give us examples of misbehavior. He uses cane. I'll give him example solution to that.
You see, when that I was saying that in the beginning, that it depends upon the students themselves. You don't always need to use the cane. Yes, it's true. I agree with that. But to tell me that I should abolish it, that's what I started with. I said that caning is no good because I was cane.
You know, we have a call on the line.
Yeah, Mr. Mbiakwa is on the line. Yeah, Mr. Mbiakwa. Good morning, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Well, I guess it's not on the line. Yeah. So let's get back to it. Yeah.
Okay. Ideally, the best thing would be to run the child through counseling, the moral issue you talk about. But we should recognize that we are not in an ideal situation and that people are different. It's not every child who will listen to you when you talk.
Right.
Without coming out with any other form of punishment. And as I said, you can use various forms of punishment. Even though I will agree that we should not completely, we should not always use it. It might be used at a specific time.
Yeah.
It is also important that, and he made a reference to my colleague at the extreme right, that people, you know, cross red light and all that because of, not necessarily. You see, we don't have to look at issue that simplistic way. The other angle is that because the laws do not work. You see, if people know that when they do A, the consequence B, and that consequence 99% of the time it will follow, they are more likely to stop. So the essence of punishment, not necessarily the caning, all form is that we want to reduce the frequency at which an undesirable behavior is repeated. Or at best, we even want to eliminate it altogether. There are some people who listen to counseling, who listen to just talk to them, run them through.
Shouldn't it be because that is how they have been brought up? So they already have that mindset of listening to counseling. But if the child knows that, you know, corporal punishment to the child is caning, they will not listen to counseling.
It might be there are some children, you run them through the counseling, it wouldn't work.
I can associate with Doc most because the point is that I went to St. Anthony's, it used to be preparatory school. I don't know what it's called now. The point is that I can count the number of times I was beaten because I was class prefect from class 1 to class 4. I became cardboard monitor. And
Good for
5,
you.
6 school prefects, deputy school prefect and all that. So I could count. I rather carried people to be beating because I was a classroom. The teacher will obviously tell you, write down the names of talkatives and blah, blah, blah.
And DP,
I mean, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we had mental and dictation. And the moment Mr. Boabing enters the class, he hits the table, he has the cane. Everybody seemed to be alert. So anytime he was doing mental dictation, you would learn your times table, you would learn your spellings. So we were all kind of like sharp. But the teachers that were kind of like lax, they were quiet, we didn't quite take them seriously. But I don't know how it's affected my life.
Patrick, you know why? You know the effect of that?
No.
Why has GES abolished that method of teaching? One, in that class there are about 3 students, or 3, let me say. One who will pick it so quick, one who will process it, one who will take a longer time. The bad teacher comes to class with a cane in his hand up like this. 1 plus 1. Then everybody is I witnessed one somewhere. Maybe one day I'll make that poster. This lady up there having a cane like this. And the children were supposed to be reading and they were doing this. Lack of
they were waiting for the cane to
hit. She was holding the cane and still looking at the book.
Looking at the teacher at the same time.
It doesn't help. And GES does not allow it. It's
briefly,
strong.
we're running out of time.
It's
so let's
strong.
just
We must do what other schools are doing. We must train our children in the house the way others have been trained.
Okay, Joseph, briefly.
Final words,
in a nutshell, I can say that after caning, need to administer it, but the teachers should be very careful on how they cane.
You have a child?
And no.
Wait, when you become a parent, when somebody, your child comes to...
So it depends on how it's done. So it doesn't, you see, there's a fine line between abuse and corporal punishment. It's a very fine line.
Abuse is abuse. If it's wrong to hit a woman,
okay, what I would say is that let's look at the situation specific. Sometimes we just want to transport things from elsewhere, which might not be appropriate to our setting.
Yes.
What is appropriate to our setting? And even from one region to other. Within the school, what are the best way to punish children in order to reform them and to correct them? I also suggest that the children should also be involved. They will come out with issues that you'll be surprised. And when they come out, they own it, they become part of it, and they themselves will abide by.
Okay,
And I
thank
think
you so
that's
very
much
much.
better.
I think one exercise that you guys should consider as teachers, especially you who loves to use a cane, is that let them do a little squatting in
Look,
class.
me, when I was in school,
it helps their thighs to build up.
When I was in school, we were asked to go and make beds and plant tomato seedlings for punishment. And that really helps.
GS is against
Okay, what would you do I mean, are you a parent? What would you do? Would you allow your child to be beaten in school or to be spoken to? Bobby?
Me?
Yes.
I don't think I'll allow them to be beaten because, like you said rightly, sometimes it brings out timidity, lack of confidence, and it really doesn't help.
It doesn't help.
I don't subscribe to it. Most definitely. So, with much love and peace.
From Jocelyn and Patrice.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah, have a good day. Have a nice day.
Galaxy Tab 10.1 provided by Samsung. All furniture provided courtesy of Life